My name is Cheleta, and this is my story. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. My mom and my dad was married. Grew up in the 80s around the crack epidemic, which hit the hoods real bad. That actually separated my family. My father started robbing banks. By the age of 3, he was in prison for 10 years. My mom had become a victim to the crack era. And we was actually placed, me and my siblings was placed in the system. After we was placed in the system, my grandmother, who was actually living in California, she came from California and got us, took all of us and had custody of us. We stayed in the shelter for a few months, maybe a year. I can't really say total time, but we stayed in it. I know we was in the shelter. And then we actually got an apartment, and that's when I finally realized I was living in a house of horror. My grandmother, she provided us with everything. We had a roof, food, any game system that came out, clothes. We had everything that a child would want except love. We was abused. I've been beat with an iron, cable cords. My grandmother, sometimes she punished me where I couldn't eat. So my siblings would actually take some of their food and put it in a paper towel and bring it to me once they was finished, just so I could have something to eat at night. So with all the abuse, I really feel like it made me stronger as a person. I can take a hit, I can tell you that, thanks to my grandmother. And I can't honestly say that I grew up with love in a household. I love my grandmother for keeping us together, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have never known my siblings. We was already separated in the system by the age of 5. It was the year 97 that my life went downhill when my mom passed when I was 14. I became rebellious. As a teenager, I didn't do no hard drugs, but PCP, sax back in the day was kind of hard drugs. I was smoking both out the aluminum foil, marijuana, drinking. Mind you, I was an adult child, still a teenager. I started committing crimes that I was never caught doing, and a lot of one I was caught doing. 2002, I was arrested in DC for a felony charge. I went to prison for 8 years, my first time ever being arrested, at the age of 18. Prison for me, it broke me, and then it lifted me, and then it broke me again. Because I was so rebellious, I didn't get everything that it did offer, but I did get my GED like the judge told me to, in less than 6 months of me being incarcerated. I was young, I didn't have any guidance. Coming into a system with rules and controls, I didn't have any type of understanding to it, so I became rebellious. I fought a lot in prison. Out of the 8 years, I probably did five and a half on lock, which is in the SHU, 24-hour lockdown. As a woman, you locked in a cell with a sink and a bunk bed. You take a shower 3 times a week. I was released in 2009 to nothing. When I came home, I literally was wearing everything that my sister owned because I had nothing. My life has always been up and down, but I've always been a fighter. So the up and down has never affected my drive and my strive. Once my record was sealed, I took immediate advantage of it. I became a security officer where I was working in government buildings. And now I'm working at the post office, which I'm going on 3 years now. I became a mentor. I'm a motivational speaker, Raw and Uncut. I visited a few juvenile facilities where I spoke with children. I wrote poems for juvenile facility programs. I'm part of the WIRE, which is Women Involved in Reentry. It's a panel of women who was previously incarcerated. We're home now, and we're out helping the women that's coming from prison with housing, transportation, clothing, food, guidance, a friendship, a hug, anything that we can provide. Mentally, I've cried to God and asked why thousands of times. Why me, Lord? And all the time I'm thinking He's punishing me. He's just making me stronger to tell my story and how to survive it for the ones who's not strong enough. He didn't leave me where I stand. When I tried to go, He didn't leave me there. He lifted me up.